record it right there. I have no idea how long this is going to go. Everybody, hi. My name is Abbeygale Quinn. This is the very first episode of Crush It with Kindness. As far as I know, there's probably a lot of podcasts out there for compassionate entrepreneurs, but none that are done as poorly or as low budget or with as little foresight as this one. So for my very first guest that I have, Parker Lynch, and I'm going to let him talk about himself. I'm going to try to do as little talking as I possibly can because I'm less likely to get into trouble if I do it that way. So Parker, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to talk to you again, talk to you a few times now, and what you're doing is phenomenal, and that's why you're here. And why don't you tell everybody, because I already know what you do and how you kind of got into it.
Yeah, Abbeygale. Well, thank you. It's an honor to be on your podcast. Really appreciate you thinking of me. And yeah, so a little bit about me. I've been a teacher for the last 10 years. Started teaching in Thailand, actually. I switched careers and ended up going to grad school at NYU, got my double master's in special ed and childhood ed. And during that time, I was lucky enough to see a lot of different ed tech devices around in the classroom. We, in a bunch of different schools, they moved us around a lot, which was great. So that kind of got my mind thinking a little bit. I went to basically the way I started the company where that I'm a CEO at right now is it's called Hedgehog Health, and we started with a device, and the inspiration of that device was like one particular kid. I was shadowing him for the day, and we were going, and I could tell, like, after working with kids on the spectrum, you could kind of see some of the signs of being on the spectrum, and I could tell he was like on the spectrum somewhere, but likely undiagnosed because I wasn't told about that beforehand. So
can I ask, what were some of the symptoms and stuff?
So some of the telltale signs of being on the autism spectrum, lack of eye contact, trouble with like social situations. There's a few, and he exhibited those two in particular. Also, like scheduling. If you change the schedule a little bit, it can kind of throw a wrench into someone's day if they're on the spectrum. So yeah, that's a good question. Those are like kind of like a few of the signs. There's more, but yeah, with this particular student, those were kind of his signs that I picked up on. And so basically, like when I was shadowing him, he had to go to the computer lab for computer class, and he brought a fidget everywhere he would go. It's a little fidget stress ball, and for whatever reason, he wasn't allowed to bring it into the computer lab. And he had a meltdown. So the next day, I was like, I'm gonna get him a fidget computer mouse. Like that'll, like, there must be one, right? So I went on Google, searched around, did not find one. Then that's where I kind of was like, why is there not one? Like maybe I should make one myself. I made this like weird little prototype out of a dog toy, and kind of started talking to friends who patented things before, and I decided I was going to patent a fidget mouse. So I don't know, here's an example of one of them. This is called the Hoglet, which is the word for a baby hedgehog. As you can see, it's like super fidgetable if you're actually watching this.
It does look like listening. A baby hedgehog.
Yeah, right. So yeah, and we have like 5 different colors. Here's like 2 of them. This one's kind of hard to see, but it's purple. This one's the pink one.
Are they soft?
They are. So the ones I just showed you, they're prototypes. So those are made of they're made of a type of rubber, but the ones that we're currently producing, which should be here in June, fingers crossed, they are made of silicone, so they're soft. They're soft to the touch. I actually use, like, these prototypes are functional, so you can fidget with them. Like, I don't know if you can see this, but I can like move the little nubs on it. And yeah, it's fun to play with. And I'm on my computer all day, so I'm also severely ADHD. That's so this product suits me very well, as well as some some people on the spectrum, as well as people who are not even on the spectrum who like to fidget. We've had a lot of, so basically like once I created this thing, we did a Kickstarter campaign with the goal to raise $65,000 in 30 days. We raised over 71,000.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so we're able to make it. And yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We're creating that device. And after creating the Hoglet, I brought on a co-founder and our COO, and we did a little bit of research. We ended up bringing on a doctor onto our team as well, Dr. Jordan. He's a BCBA, which is a board certified behavioral analyst, and those people with that training are trained to work with kids with autism and families with autism as well, to help them acquire skills. So the three of us really like talked to a lot of, I mean, I personally talked to a ton of parents with kids who have autism, and they did as well. We found out there's a huge gap in the autism market, where the unfortunate thing is like when a child is diagnosed with autism, usually they end up sitting on a wait list for 2 weeks to 2 years without any treatment. So imagine, if you had a kid and they were diagnosed with autism at age 2, and just having no help for 2 years. They're 4 by the time that maybe they get accepted to the autism center. So that's really detrimental to their
Yeah,
overall
that's
process.
crazy.
Those are super formative years, right?
How
Like
is
from
there
2 to
not
4.
a bigger market for like people who can, like, there, it seems like there should be more availability in centers for that. Like, I would think at this point.
Yeah, so one of the problems is there's a national shortage of BCBAs, it's board certified behavioral analysts, like the partner of my team. There's a national shortage. So like in the autism center, they want the kids to come into the center, and their basically their business model is kind of optimized for that. There's a new parent coaching code so we as a team we realized, okay, there's a problem with the system, right? Like you just mentioned. I mean, like the fact that these kids are sitting on a wait list. There's a problem with the system here. Let's work with let's work with the parents on the wait list by using this new billing code, so they're not just sitting there idly. Also, we can be like the matchmaker for these families to get them to a center with less of a wait list. Like we're gathering data right now, we'll continue to do so. So we'll know, like, okay, this autism specializes in a couple of the a couple of areas where your child has deficits, or this autism center is closer to your house, has a shorter wait list. We'll know all that stuff. We'll be able to like internally rank them, and we'll be able to kind of have the best outcome for the family, right? And we can also immediately work with the parent. So we only work with parents. We don't work with the kids at all. So that's kind of like, and we're alone in that category. There's really no other company that simply focuses on the parent. So that's kind of and that's a really long-winded way of like telling you like what I'm doing right now. So that is what I'm doing, and we are currently, I'm just trying to fundraise at the moment to like get us out. Like these BCBAs, like I mentioned, there's a shortage. We need to pay them well, give them good benefits. So we're currently like looking for the best of the best to work with us. They can work from home. They can kind of choose their hours. So really excited to bring this new way of thinking to the autism industry, because I think it's like it's been the same way for a while here. It needs a little shake up, right? We're about to shake up the autism industry.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
guess. Well, how many people are you trying to bring on board for that?
We'd like to bring on a whole lot, as many as we can. Like really, like the fundraising we're doing right now is just going to go into working capital. So, the BCBAs get paid like around $100,000 a year. They get great benefits, so we have to we have to up the ante a bit to get them to come with us. So that's kind of what we're planning on doing. So yeah, I guess like we want to scale up as quickly as we can. Like, to be honest with you, we'd like to move forward. We want to be in every state. Right now we're so all I think I mentioned, like, these services are all billable through health insurance, which is key. And in order to do that, we have to be like I guess certified by these different states and by different healthcare networks. So right now we're currently in 8 different states. We have Medicaid coverage in 3 states, 3 of the 8 states. Our goal is to be in all 50 states in the next 4 to 5 years. Next 3 years, we want to be in, by the next 3 years, we want to be in 30 states. So we want to really be in all 50 states so we can accommodate all learners. So the quicker we raise funds, the quicker we can get there.
Okay. What are you guys trying to do that right now? Do you have another Kickstarter going? Do you have are you talking to investors? Like, what's the challenging part about all of this, besides, like, obviously you need capital, like, that's going to be the hardest part, but
so the challenging part has been, strategies of like getting the best the lead flow essentially has been a challenge, like getting qualified leads. Having kids who are in fact diagnosed with autism, we need that for billing, like proof of billing to health insurers. So finding qualified leads, if someone's not on the spectrum, like we can still work with them, but they would have to pay out of pocket. So it can be kind of expensive. It can be like $125 in some states per session, which is an hour. So that's quite expensive.
Have you marketed yourself for that yet? Have you tried to, have you reached out to people who, the parents in particular, who don't, they don't necessarily know for sure, maybe their child hasn't been diagnosed, but sometimes what's going on. So right. Maybe in those cases, there's people out there who would be willing to pay out of pocket. There may be a very large percentage of people. Have you looked into that market?
Yeah, we have some we've had some clients who have paid out of pocket because of that exact scenario, right? And coming off the tail end of, or hopefully, like, the pandemic is like wrapping up here, this long, exactly, this long slog we've been through. Like, there's a huge in some areas there's a big wait list to even get in to see a pediatrician. So right. Yeah, some parents have done that exact same thing. And when this whole thing, like when we were in the middle of this whole thing, like my thoughts were, like 1 in 54 kids in the US is diagnosed with autism, which is a number keeps going up. And really there's a lot of theories why, but no one knows exactly why. I think the numbers will go up even further just because of the pandemic, because like parents are now the teacher, or have become the teachers when the school shut down. And now they're saying, oh, I see what Mr. or Mrs. so-and-so is saying. Like when I sit Johnny down for science, he's fine for the first 5 minutes, then has a meltdown. And I think parents are going to kind of understand now, like, what the teachers have been saying. They'll kind of really like understand that and do something about it. Hopefully, right? Like, take the child in to be tested, and like one way or the other, let's see, because like, you can't treat an issue unless you diagnose it, right? So you don't have like a kid who has been diagnosed with autism can actually get the treatment he or she needs, which is crucial, right? So we are, we're marketing to that too. We have a small team right now. It's just 4 employees at Hedgehog Health. So we want to, right now we're trying to get like the most qualified leads, because when we do Facebook ads, for instance, we get a whole, like, it's like turning on a faucet full speed. We're getting all these leads and stuff, but a lot of them are just like parents are like, oh, I need help with my kid, or my kid's like misbehaving. And that's not exactly like the client that we can work with, because unless they want to pay $125 for ways to
Okay,
help their kid, which some parents do.
hold on. This is
Yeah.
the business coach. I can't separate it. I'm trying really hard. But why, if you need the capital, why not open yourself? It's not hard getting those leads. And if parents need help, why wouldn't that be something that you guys would be interested in looking into or in pursuing, even if they're going to pay it out of pocket? I know there's this, like, people are used to, when it comes to medical treatment, you go right to, like insurance, like we're going to bill insurance, we're going to, pay a premium or whatever. But having lived over, as you can see, it's already dark over here in Russia. For those of you watching or listening, you don't know, that's where I'm at right now. But like over here, it's exactly what you're saying, but for everybody. If you have to go to the doctor, it's free for the most part, but you're going to wait like months, even if you have an extremely important test or analysis or a surgery that you have to do, you're going to be waiting forever. So you can pay out of pocket to go to a pretty good private doctor. And it's usually, like the quality is better too. I'm not saying that you guys are less quality because you're taking people's insurance, but
Yeah,
if you guys can help parents, it just seems like you're missing like a opportunity to help people and fund your operation, which needs to grow.
Yeah, I mean, we will take, I mean, if a parent wants to pay out of pocket, absolutely. Like, we're not turning anyone away who wants to do that. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it just it's, I would say it's rare for, again, we do have a few clients who do that, but it's like 5% of them, and we won't, obviously will not turn anybody away. Like,
Okay.
we'll work with anybody. So yeah,
I wasn't implying
that's,
you were like a bad person, like you're only going to take them if they, their kid's diagnosed. That wasn't what
no, that I understand. That question comes up a lot, so no worries at all. We will work with anybody as long as, they're qualified, or, well, they want to pay out of pocket, or they want to, or go through insurance. Like, we'll just have to make sure that we work with that insurance. We're able to bill through them, and that process usually just takes a couple weeks to get cleared, and then we're ready to go.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Did I hear that did you say you taught in Thailand?
Yeah, I did. That was my first teaching experience. I had no idea what I was doing. I learned on the job. I learned really quickly. It was awesome. It was like one of the best decisions I made in my life. Before doing that, I was doing search engine optimization for this small business outside of Detroit. I'm located in Detroit area. That's where I was like born and raised. I lived in this area. So yeah, I got this SEO job, and it was fine at first, but after a while it kind of wore on me. And it was like in 2007 where, the recession was really hitting hard across the country, especially in the Detroit area. Like, I'd come in every day and somebody would be, all bummed out because they're like, their cousin lost their job in the auto industry, or, it was just kind of a rough time. And I knew this is not something I wanted to do the rest of my life, just like be at a computer all day. So
Right.
That's when I was like, my mom has always been like, Parker, you should be a teacher. Like, you're good with kids. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna give it a shot. Like, if I'm if I'm I'm sorry, excuse me. If I'm like terrible, at least I'll be in Asia and I'll get to travel.
Right.
Yeah. So I ended up getting out to sorry, I got a frog in my throat.
You're good.
Let me just take a sip of water.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I will too.
Excuse me. So mothers always know best, and I learned that really quickly. At the time, I was reluctant to admit that, but and I ended up moving out there and like had visa issues. So like basically like the next day after landing, I was like teaching at like a class of 20 kids. It was an international school, so they're from all over the place. It was a kindergarten class, and had to learn really quickly what I was doing. It was like extremely overwhelming, but
so you didn't have like any training ahead of
No,
time?
no, I didn't have any training. Um, I don't think it was the school's fault. It was like, I mentioned I had visa issues, so um, I'm sure there was like orientation I missed, but
Oh, okay.
luckily my coworkers were awesome. Like I had coworkers from all over the world, and they
Oh,
were like kind of like open door policy. They're always like, Parker, come in, check out like some of the learning games that I've created. Like the school
oh,
had
that's cool.
not much of a budget. Like the budget was like 200 baht for the year, like
Oh, wow.
something outrageously low. So I was like, I could buy like a couple notepads with that cash, like you can't do much with that. But so I had to get really creative with making like gamifying education. And that's like kind of what the type of teacher that I wanted to be in. Like, I feel like I became that as a teacher. I love to, hide the candy or hide the salad in the candy, so to speak, right? Like, so, like, it's playing a game, having so much fun, they don't realize that they're learning, right? So a
Right,
lot of
that's
my
the best
games
way to be.
involve just like, yeah, fun and camaraderie and teamwork and like, you know, I guess like competition too sometimes. So I got better every day, and there's no better way to like learn. Like I'm sure you've had experiences like this too, like just getting thrown into the fire in a way, like is the best way to learn how to do anything.
Yeah, definitely. How long did you do that for? How long were you over there?
So I got a 1 year contract, but they extended it for another year, and then after 2 years, I think I was like ready to get out, like to come back home. Not that I didn't love Thailand; it was more so that like I missed my family, missed being 12-hour time difference was rough. Uh, but yeah, I love Thailand. I need to go back. It's been a long time. It's about time for for another visit back to Thailand. It's a beautiful country.
What's the spider situation like over there?
Oh my God. There's some terrifying spiders, like crazy
Are you afraid
insects.
of spiders?
Yeah, actually, yes. That is, I'm not, I'm not afraid of many things, but not a huge fan of spiders. Like snakes don't bug
Yeah,
me.
I like
Like,
snakes. They're cute.
yeah, yeah, snakes are cool. Like, uh, funny snake story. Like, so even though the school is in Bangkok, we were on the like we're kind of like in the jungle a bit, right? Like it was right off like the main road, Sukhumvit Road in Bangkok. I'm probably saying that wrong, especially since I've been gone for a while. But um, it was like an offshoot right off like the main drag there, and there's like little. I mean, it was like felt like you're in the jungle, right? There's like palm trees, tons of overgrowth and stuff, and we were on the playground one day, and it's like I had playground duty and just sweating profusely, and
Yeah.
making sure nobody's getting hurt on the playground. All of a sudden, this snake falls down from the trees
Like just
onto
right
like
out of the
the
tree?
yeah, just like plop and like wriggling around, and all the kids are freaking out, and some guy, one of the like I guess one of like the we had like kind of guards at the entrance there. He came over and just like grabbed it really quick and walked off with the snake.
Oh,
So
well, I'm glad
yeah,
he didn't hurt it or anything.
no, no, he transported the snake away from us. I don't know what happened after that, but there's all sorts of like wow. I mean, yeah, the bug situation, the mosquitoes are like monster mosquitoes. The spiders are bigger than the spiders we have here. It's kind of wild out there.
Yeah. Like I would totally go and stay in a jungle somewhere, but like the one issue is spiders. And they're okay. I like tarantulas. I don't know what it is. This is a whole different conversation, but those are like little animals, but the other ones, I don't know. They're like they all the legs and they just scurry and it's a jump scare thing, I think. Like they
Oh
surprise
yeah,
you. Yeah.
oh yeah. I mean, I've had a couple of instances where I've like, you wake up and there's like a spider on your chest. That's like the absolute worst. I don't know if it was a nightmare, if it really happened to me, but
Well,
yeah,
that
that's the
happens.
worst.
There's a lot in
Yeah,
there's a lot in Michigan. Gotta love those big wolf spiders. Not too bad over here.
yeah, don't
Um,
remind me. I know that it's almost it's spring right now, so I think it's cold
yep.
enough still outside where they're not.
It's almost
they're not
spider season.
prevalent, but yeah, spider season, especially up in northern Michigan, you get those wolf spiders. Those things are freaky.
Yeah, they're huge. They get really big.
Yeah.
Well, so what's like your end goal, or like what do you eventually want to achieve with this? Like do you want like full scale, you want clinics all over the country, you want to like change the game completely, like just go in and create an entirely new system of dealing with, parents and kids and everything with autism? Is that where you're headed?
Yeah, I think like I'd like to have these hoglets in every school, to any kid who needs them. Um, yeah, I think we all obviously, we need to make money, but I'd like to create I also run a nonprofit on the side. I didn't mention that, but I'd like to create a nonprofit arm of Hedgehog eventually to get these to areas where maybe like they can't afford them. So want hoglets everywhere, get these things out to the people.
Are you talking to
Also,
schools, people who make buying decisions for the schools?
yeah, I've been approached by some companies that sell to schools. From what I understand, it's hard to get into that. You have to kind of know the right people, and there's so many different school districts, and every state's a little bit different. And I've already talked to some schools who are ready, like we're hoglets are going to them right when I get them. We actually had during our Kickstarter, we had this hedgehog uh, part, hedgehog donor section, right, where you could buy like the hoglets for classes in need.
Oh, that's cool.
Particular this specific school in Detroit where one of my friends is actually the principal there, and they're in desperate need of um, school supplies, and they do have kids on the spectrum there. So they're really excited to get them, and I can't wait to. I've already had some of the kids like play with the prototypes. They totally loved them. So that was cool to see. Um, so yeah, want to get the hoglets to people who need them. Also change the game. Like I think you put it well when you said that. I think one of the benefits to us is we don't have brick and mortar clinics. We're not like a traditional autism center. We think we want to coexist with them. We think we see the value in autism centers, certainly, right? Like we believe that kids should be going into autism centers when they can, but newly diagnosed kid, they're supposed to get 40 hours of treatment. That's a lot, right? Especially if they're in school or like I have extracurriculars. We want to make that more like I guess like more attainable for families. And I think having the in-home experience where, one thing I hear from a lot of parents is like, oh, my kid goes off to the autism center, then comes home, and then like the bad behavior like kind of resumes because they're in their home space
Right.
where they feel safe and everything, and want to make sure that like the good habits carry over, right? So that's another value of like doing this in home. And the parent is administrating. We're empowering parents with this, right? Giving them skills, teaching them skills that behavioral therapists have, right? So I think that's where we're going to change the game. And yeah, really excited to do that. And I want to be in like all 50 states. Like I want Hedgehog to kind of be a household name and a trusted name in the autism space for sure. So that's what we're trying to do. Just like be very transparent as a company, do things the right way, have the best interest of the family in mind here. Always like that's gonna be consistent with us.
Have you gotten in front of any big audiences yet? Do you have anything planned?
Yeah, I've done a pitch competition. I have one tonight actually. So yeah, just trying to get in front of like VCs. With the quarantine, with COVID and everything, it's been like, it's all virtual stuff. I'm really excited for the day when I can actually like go to a conference and talk to people and get in front of people, answer questions in person, right? The digital divide is, having to do this all over Zoom and stuff is cool, but it's not quite the same, right? So I have gotten in front of a good amount of people, but always looking to get in front of more.
Yeah, it's easier to sell someone on something in person. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and like explain yourself, and I think it's like a less, you know, I guess like less formal. I don't know if that's the right word, but less strange. Like this is still strange to me, even after all the months of being holed away in my house, like doing the Zoom stuff is like, I like to be around people. And again, I mentioned like I wanted to get off the computer since like,
Right.
with
Yeah, that's
my
not the
old
right
job and
job for
everything.
you if you like hanging out with people.
Yeah, exactly. Like I want to be like, going to present this to people. I'm not exactly like the best public speaker in the world, or I don't want to get in front of like thousands of people. I I'll be nervous, but at the same time I do, right? So yeah, get me in front of as many people as possible. I'll present, and yeah, that's for something I'm looking forward to in the future.
Awesome. Well, how can people support you?
People can reach out to me at Parker at hedgehoghealth.com. It's spelled so PARKER at HEDGEHOGHEALTH.com. I think I got that
I think so too.
right.
It's spelled like it sounds, so you shouldn't have
Yeah, it's
too much
spelled
of an
like the
issue with it.
animal, right? Yeah, the hedgehog and then the health. So just hey, shoot me an email. We can go from there. If you have questions, if you just want to say hello, if you any ideas, I would love to hear it. Any feedback. So please reach out. You can also find us on the web, www.hedgehoghealth.com. That's where you can actually like pre-order a hoglet if you want to buy one for yourself. You can also request ABA parent coaching with Dr. Jordan too. So that's probably the hub of where you should go if you want to like find out more about hedgehog health.
What about people who want to give you money but don't actually want you to know who they are? Do you have something set up where you can take anonymous donations?
Yeah. I could. Let's see. That's a good question. I haven't gotten that one before. You can always send. Let's see. You could send a check to to our business. You could email me.
You don't have like
I
a
would.
PayPal donation button set up somewhere, like on
I
your
mean,
site?
somebody could. We don't. We don't have that. That's
Parker.
Abigail. That's where we need your mind to come in here. I hadn't thought of that. So now we're gonna have to get a donation button on our site.
Yes.
You could always like email me and say like this donation to remain anonymous, and it will be anonymous.
Some people like to just give money spur of the moment without thinking about it. And if you could just gotta, it's
Right.
just like, having e-commerce. Like if you have something to sell, you gotta make it so simple. But same thing
Hey,
with donations, just make it easy.
yeah, could buy a bunch of hoglets for classrooms in need. That's a thought too if they want to do that.
Uh-oh, I lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can't hear me? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
You're like, yeah, I lost my sound, so I don't know what you're saying.
I was saying you could always go onto the site and buy a bunch of hoglets for kids in need if you want. That's
That's
another
true.
thought.
That's very
Yeah.
true. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a good answer.
You had me
Well,
scrambling there for a
yeah.
second. The PayPal button. I need that. Or the donate button. We need to add that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, I'm super excited for you. Okay. And I definitely want you to come back a little bit later and maybe with some, or do you have some like new prototypes and stuff in mind that you're thinking about?
Yeah. My baby, the one that I've that I patented. So this one like almost didn't happen. This is kind of like thing that I was debating whether I should make or not. But the next one, and I'm glad I did because it has a huge audience. The next mouse that we have internally we're calling it the mighty mango. And then after that, the prickly pear, which is more of a joystick one. But the mighty mango,
Those are good.
yeah, thank you. And we like the alliteration, obviously. Hedgehog health, mighty mango, prickly
Yeah.
pear. I'm into the alliteration. The mighty mango, the one I hold a U.S. patent for. This mouse will be a two-way mouse, because I was thinking, why does a mouse only go from me to the computer? Why does it not go from me to the computer back to me to give me positive feedback when I get things correct? So
Because that would freak me right out.
some people like that, right? Like if you think about an Xbox controller and you're playing a racing game, you can
No,
feel
it makes sense.
right.
But
Right.
that's probably why it doesn't exist as of just yet.
Well, yeah. So we'll see.
Well, it does
Hopefully it
now,
doesn't.
or it's about to.
Well, it isn't. It's like in production, like in like the early stages of production. So, yeah, we're gonna have software that we'll have like a Chrome extension, so we'll be able to gather data. Well, you'll be able to turn off these functions, right? It'll probably what it's gonna do is vibrate, light up, and make a sound. Potentially even emit a lavender scent, calming scent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like I have it patented for 5 senses. If we wanted to, we could even like Bluetooth to like a treat dispenser. To like, so rewarding is a big part of like teaching, right? Like when you become a teacher, like you should reward kids, not punish them for
Right.
getting things wrong. Like reward the good stuff, right? So that's kind of what made me think that way about creating this thing. So that's the next one coming down the pike. It'll like light up when the user gets multiple things correct. It can like vibrate, it can make a noise. These things can be turned on and off, right? Like if you don't, like, let's say it freaks you out, like if it vibrated, like, and I'm not, it wouldn't be like a crazy vibration, it would just be a little like a little pulse or something. You could turn that off, or like the parent could turn that off. So yeah.
I think I lost you. I hope it wasn't on my end. It says I'm still live streaming, so I think it's still working. Okay, I'm not really sure. This is my first
Really
ever.
excited about that.
Oh, are you back?
There.
Okay.
Back,
Sorry.
yeah.
I thought I was
No,
gonna have to like bring my cat on to like fill the void while I wait for you to come back. So
I see your cat in the background. It must be that the good old Russia to Detroit internet connection.
yeah,
Is,
I'm actually
so,
surprised it's working as good as it is.
Right. It's a long way to go. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the next thing we have coming your way. So hopefully in the next couple of years that'll be ready to go and out to market. And who knows, like we'll certainly be selling it through our website, maybe through retailers. I don't know yet. That's like a whole nother conversation. So just learning the ropes of manufacturing right now, which is a whole different world and really interesting to kind of dive into.
Well, we definitely got to have you back. Keep me posted, updates, if you need anything. Of course. But I'm so excited. Like you're a great person to have for the first ever guest, because you got a lot to say, you got a lot going on, and you're doing something like I think is very revolutionary. Those people are really difficult to find. So I'm very, very grateful for you. I'm grateful for the people that you come into contact with too, and that meet you and get to potentially work with you. Those people are very lucky. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I'd say the same thing about you. And thanks for all the advice you've given in our previous chats and everything. You're awesome as well. It's been a total honor to be your guest. So thanks so much for having me. This has been fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right. Well, to everybody listening, thanks for sticking it out. And I'll be back next time. I'm not sure when yet. Haven't got the schedule worked out, but otherwise, I guess that's pretty much it. So I'll see you next time. Get a hold of Parker and support him as soon as you can. And I'll see you guys later.
Thank you.